Thank you for all your support thus far. I'm glad to have such a supportive friend. Oh, greetings, mutual mortals! You kind of caught me while I was in the middle of something. I wonder if Derios is done with that thing he was working on. Hey Derios! How's that fridge collecting going? Still working on it. I see. I guess it's up to me to look at more games while he's away. I've been kinda meaning to look at more platformers, and I know just the one to do. Mutant Mudds! I really have the urge to review this, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just a long time coming sort of thing, since I review a lot of handheld games here. I mean, that's mostly the only systems I play on, to be honest. I'm going to be covering both the original and Super Challenge in this video. They're quite similar to one another, so it only makes sense to kill two birds with one stone. Alrighty, let's get this thing started! Mutant Mudds is a modern retro-styled platformer, developed and published by a Western game studio by the name of Renegade Kid. It released in 2012, quite early in the 3DS's life, on the eShop, and then some other platforms later. Apparently, this game is based upon a prototype 3D platformer that they made for the DS that didn't really get off the ground. Not much footage and screenshots of it exist publicly, but it's still fun to see scrapped game content like this though. This game received a ton of praise when it released, and became known as one of the first must-have titles on the 3DS eShop. But is it still worth playing today? Let's find out! The plot is very simple to follow. One day, a kid named Max and his grandmother are playing some games together, when a meteorite lands and these mud creatures are taking over the place. Max heads off with a water gun and hover pack, which I'm assuming his grandmother made, to take on the Mudds, collect the water sprites and golden diamonds, which I need to get rid of them for good, and to end the Mutant Mudd menace once and for all. A simple, straight to the point plot. I like it! Now for the actual gameplay. You move Max with the D-pad, jump with A or B, and fire with Y or X. You can also use the hover pack by pressing the jump button again while in midair. Max can take up to 3 hits before he gets taken out, but spikes and lava can kill him in 1 hit, so be super careful of those hazards. You can also jump into the foreground and background by using these jump pads, which is very cool to see, especially if you have the 3D turned on. Apparently, it was based upon a very similar mechanic in Virtual Boy Wario Land. Ugh, I wish Nintendo would just re-release that game already. Oh yeah, you're also on a time limit, but I don't think it ever became much of an issue, except for when I was playing the final stage where things drag on a bit. Don't expect this game to be a walk in the park. If it's your first playthrough, look forward to dying. A lot. Actually, it used to be much harder when it first released, because it originally didn't have checkpoints. They were added in an update. But you could turn them off in the pause screen on the level select if you want to see how hard it used to be. One thing I find kind of strange is that there's no boss fights in this game. It's all platforming levels. Not that I think this game needed them, it's just a little jarring to play a platformer that doesn't have any kind of boss encounters when so many others do. Each stage has 100 gold diamonds to collect, and a water sprite that's at the end of the stage. These are pretty much your goal. Each stage also has an entrance to either V-Land or G-Land stage. These stages don't have golden diamonds, but they do have water sprites just like the regular stages. To access some of them, you may need a certain power-up equipped. There are 3 of them you could use, so long as you've collected enough golden diamonds to unlock it. The power shot, which gives your projectiles more range and a faster firing rate, the extended hover, which allows you to hover for longer, and the vertical boost, which gives you the ability to do this tall vertical jump by pressing up and the jump button. They're all helpful and fun to use, especially the vertical boost, but you can only equip one at a time, so make sure to use them to the best of your ability. Once you finish the main game, you can play as Granny, Max's grandmother. She plays just like him, but she has all 3 of the upgrades at once. And thanks to a free update, there were some levels made for her that only she can get to, thanks to her amazing mobility, the CGA levels. These are the toughest and most complex stages this game has to offer. They're enemy filled and pack so many spikes they'll give a wannabe a guy a run for his money. But with some practice and trial and error, you can conquer them. It's possible to actually get maxed in one of the CGA levels with careful use of the vertical boost, but he can't finish the stage, so it doesn't really matter much in the end. There's also these ghost levels that were added in the deluxe version of Mutant Mudds. They're slightly altered versions of the main stages, and all the mudds are ghosts, meaning you can't kill them since your shots will pass right through them. The only way to attack them is by grabbing this ghost gun power up, but even if you do take them out, they'll come right back after a few seconds. These stages are unique and a nice change of pace. There's also hidden skins of some of the developers in these stages, so be on the lookout for those. Alright, that's everything about the original. Now on to Super Challenge. Mutant Mudds Super Challenge was the sequel to the original, released in 2016. There was actually a bit of a tease for this game when you finished all the CGA levels in the original. Max mentions that he was contacted about something new brewing. Turns out it's a mud problem going on in another part of the world, and it's all being caused by this meteorite, the very same one we saw in the opening of the first game. So it's up to Max to step up to the plate once again and deal with the mudds for good this time. Another simple and straight to the point plot. I like this one too. So, how does this game fare in comparison to the first game? Well, it's pretty much brought up the same stuff, only the levels are a bit more challenging here. I mean, this game isn't called Super Challenge for nothing. This game also has the habit of hiding things in walls, so remember to check those. I always thought it was weird how the checkpoints in the first game didn't restore your lost hearts, but the ones in this game do, thankfully. There's also now a death counter to show how many times you screwed up thus far.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in.
The third stage of each world is now a ghost stage, playing just like how they did in Deluxe. The power-ups also return, and all three are available right from the get-go. The V-Land and G-Land stages have new stuff in them. They now have golden diamonds for you to collect, and these stages also hide skins of certain indie characters you can find, and these are really cool. You can usually tell which wall they're hiding in by the circle mark here. Each stage also has a CD you can find. Collecting them allows you to listen to music from the first game and this game. That reminds me, I didn't talk about the soundtrack, did I? It's all chiptune music, very fitting of a game with aesthetics like this. Both games' OSTs were composed by... I'm not sure if I can pronounce that name. But they did a great job on both these games' soundtracks. Check it out if you're into stuff like this. The visuals are quite nice too. According to an interview, they were going for a 12-bit style. I can certainly see that. Now here's a surprise. This game actually has boss fights. Most of them involve you exposing their heart and attacking it 3 times. And just like the main levels, they could be quite a challenge. Though, I wasn't a big fan of the ones that seemingly incorporated RNG in them. Mainly the first and second bosses, because they have randomized and incredibly hard to read attack patterns. I died to them the most because of it. But I still appreciate the additions of bosses in this game. They help make it feel more complete. It's because of this, and also because of those indie guest costumes, that this game is my favorite of the two. And that's Mutant Mudds and Mutant Mudds Super Challenge. They're both fun modern retro-style platformers. Check them out if they look fun to you. By the by, I might have a hot take by saying this, but I think these games, mainly the original, may be a tad bit overrated. No, don't get me wrong. I don't think these games are bad. They're good. It's just that, during the early life of the 3DS, when this game was being teased / shown off, people could not shut up about it. And that may have overhyped me in thinking that I was going to play something amazing. Well, I liked them when I first played them, but even then, I didn't think they were the second coming of Christ or something. Leave it to news outlets to overhype games. Anyway, if you want to play these games for yourself, the original Mutant Mudds is available on the 3DS and Wii U eShop, and some other platforms. Same goes for Super Challenge. Though, if you really want to get some bang for your buck, then go for the Mutant Mudds Collection on the Nintendo Switch. It's a compilation that has the original, Super Challenge, and a new game called Mud Blocks, which I think is just a reskin of another game Renegade Kid made called Bomb Monkey. I don't think anyone played that. Still a nice bonus though. This collection also seems to go on sale a lot too, so keep an eye out for it. But word of advice, don't attempt to play on the first game in one sitting, or both these games back to back like I did for this video. You'll burn yourself out real bad. Ugh. That ends this review. If I did manage to convince any of you to try these games out, I hope you have fun with them. I'll just go back to whatever I was doing earlier. So thank you for watching, be good, and stay healthy, fellow mortals! Which I think is just a reskin of another game Renegade Kid made called Bum Monkey. Did I say Bum Monkey? Bum Monkey. I want to play that.